Hello everyone and welcome back. Today it's time for my 3D printer to get some updates. It's a very nice model from Anycubic Mega S. It's completely great working 3D printer. I'm really satisfied how it's working all the time and it's never fails. But it's quite an old model and there was the technologies are much better at the moment, and there is a lot of things that possible to do better than it was made many years ago. The main things that I didn't like exactly in this one, it's quite noisy when it's working. It's printing pretty slowly and quality of the printing could be better. Okay, with the quality it's possible to level it better, it's possible to configure it probably better than I'm doing it, but with other things like noise and speed of printing, there is not so much you could do with exactly this hardware, not a hardware, with the software of the printer. So I decided to go with the Klipper as the printing software and the changing of the drivers for the motors to make it quieter. Also add the auto leveling for the printer. There will be 3 major updates to this one, and I will start with the software first, and if it will be successful, then I will do the small hardware updates. Everything else is just perfect. So the frame is solid, the motors are good, only the software could be better. First of all, even before start, I will print the 3D benchy on the speed of 100 millimeters a second. Usually I'm using a 50 to print anything, so it's twice the speed of this printer. I'm pretty sure that the quality will be quite poor. But anyway, let's have a look how it goes. First of all, I will do the filament in, as I changed to some of the Anycubic original filament that was with the printer. There was 10 meters of this filament, at least it was told on the package, so it should be fine for 2 benches. One of them I'll print now, and second one after all of the modifications and settings done. Now printer is start printing, and you could hear how loud it is. Especially the motors. So the most of the noise on this printer comes from the motors, exactly from the motors. While it's printing, I will prepare the Raspberry with Klipper on it. It's quite an old Raspberry. It's, I think, one of the first models ever made by Raspberry Pi. It has already the SD card and it's probably even working, but anyway, I will flash the latest software there. And also I will install Klipper, set it up, and then I will prepare the printer to connect to the Raspberry. Even without the disassembling, and we could have a look which difference it makes to just the original printer just with the Klipper on the Raspberry. Raspberry Pi image. I will use a Raspberry Pi imager tool. First of all, I need to choose device. I have the very legacy Raspberry Pi 1 and OS. After a little bit of the reviews, I decided to stop with the firmware of mainsail OS. actually better to go with the Raspberry Pi Lite and then install Klipper, Tracker and Mainsail, but it's possible to do everything in once. I'll try this version. This one. While it's in progress, let's have a look on our benchy. It's printing, but quality is really terrible. It's on 38% at the moment. 39. Oh my goodness. It's finishing the printing, and I'm already have Raspberry Pi starting. So I will do the initial setup without the LAN. We'll check the Wi-Fi settings. I'm pretty sure that they will start just out from the box, so I will do some additional setup, but it should be pretty easy. And this one is almost done. Here is the printing result. The first layer, I would say, not so bad, but then terrible things happen. So it's ugly face. Also, here's something not understandable. Currently, I have everything prepared for the Raspberry Pi, so it should work, and I have the user interface working. And the next logical step is the flashing of the printer firmware. So we'll try to do it now. The configuration itself was on one hand not so difficult if you already did it. On the other hand, it was really terrible. Because I was need to found how exactly to do the printer configuration. At the end, I was used just a sample one from the Klipper itself. Also, how exactly to connect and flash the printer. It was not really clear if you're doing it the first time. But just following the instructions on the original documentation of Klipper was basically enough. So now I will upload the same file that I was printed on the initially with the old firmware with the same basically configuration. Now you will see that the printer starts heating, and it soon will start printing. As you can hear, the noise from the printer is pretty the same as it was before, but that's the same driver, so I was not changed nothing yet in the printer itself. So these are just completely stock printer, only with the different firmware. What I could say at the moment that the first layer looks definitely better, but it's probably because I did just a little bit of the calibration. So let's have a look how it will be at the end and compare two models together. It's continue printing, but I'm already could say that quality of the print is much better than it was with the original software. Now I want to resolve another problem with this printer. It's the first layer and sound that it makes. So the printer makes a lot of noise, and this I will probably resolve with just the changing of the drivers and maybe cooling fans. It is done. And what could I say? The result is just much more better than it was initially with the original firmware. It's still not perfect. It's definitely overheating over here. It's not so good on the first layer. It has a little bit of the defects on the print, but it's 2 times faster than I was usually printing, and with even better quality that I was printing before on the slower speed. I have the new drivers ready to install. So now the assembly of the printer. It will be first time that I'm actually disassembling it. I was never did it before. It was never needed. Everything is pretty nice here. I will need access to this board, so I will remove now this fan and will replace these small drivers. I decided to remove the board completely from the printer. So now I will just remove these old drivers that I have and place the new on its places. Now the next thing I need to do is to reverse these cables. I'm already reversed this one. So how I'm doing it? It's shown many times in the internet how to do it. You just disconnecting the cable and then very carefully you're removing this plastic thing. So you could do that this way. It takes some time, but anyway, I think it's the easiest possible way to reverse these connectors. As you saw, I started with the knife and then just with the pillars removing it. Reversing and put it back. Okay. Not to mess with the cables, I'm reconnecting them immediately, not to check which cable goes to which motor. And now I need to do it 1, 2, 3, 4 times more. I will check the voltage on each of the driver. So it's between this pin and this one. I want to set 115 everywhere. So as you can see, it's a little bit different, and I need to set at least the same everywhere. So I will set 115 volts as on this one. I placed everything back. There is not really enough place for this fan, so it's now connected only with one screw. But anyway, I will change the fans in this printer later on. They are also extremely noisy, as on my mind. So the connection of the cables there will be changed a little bit. Also, I disconnected the display, that it's not showing the picture anymore, because it's just a picture of the old firmware, of the original firmware of the printer. I'm still reconnected to the SD card slot, but later I think I will change completely the routing here. So I want to place here also the Raspberry Pi. I want to change the cooling, optimize it a little bit probably. But now I will just close it and we'll do some tests. It's already amazingly quiet. Just listen to it. I also did a little bit of the calibration. I'll try now to print the 3D benchy that we did before, and let's have a look how it goes. It's the last result. It's still maybe not so perfect, but if you will compare with the first one, with what it was at the beginning, it's just completely different. Just take a look. This one was printed right now. This one with the previous drivers. It's already a significant difference. And this one with the initial firmware of the printer. And this will be it for this video. Next time I have this small box. and there is auto leveling. So still have something to do with the printer, but for the next time. Today only these 3 benches, and that's it.